Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and hopefully improve it. Before we get started, I humbly ask that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. This is going to be a series, and this channel has some other videos as well, sports related, entertainment related. We do a lot here, trying to grow the audience. We appreciate the fact that you're here right now. We ask that you continue to stay with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. If you're interested in a full, thorough breakdown of how this imperialism works, please check out the first 3 minutes or so of the 1966 video, which is linked in the description below. Otherwise, we are ready to start. Today, we're going to be doing the year 1969. This was the final season before the NFL and the AFL officially merged. And in that final game between the NFL and AFL champions, the AFL's Kansas City Chiefs won the game, evening them up at 2 apiece. The runners-up in that game were the Minnesota Vikings, but just like last season's imperialism, that doesn't make them a bad team. In fact, in our top 5 rankings, we showed that the Vikings were 1969's top team. The Chiefs do come in at number 2. Looking at the bottom 5 there, the Pittsburgh Steelers really bottomed out in this season before they rebuilt and became the dynasty of the 70s. But who will win imperialism? The only way to find out is to get in there and play some games. And here is 1969's first spin. That will go to the Atlanta Falcons. The arrow is going to take them east. Now from the center of their logo, that is going to hit the southernmost portion of South Carolina. So the Falcons will open imperialism up with an expansion. We've never opened imperialism with 2 straight expansions. Let's see if we get a game this time. That's landing on the Steelers, our bottom-ranked team. They're going into the southeast. That's going to send them into Baltimore to play the Colts. The Steelers actually led 14-10 at halftime, but the Colts score a touchdown, lead 17-14. Here, that's an ill-advised pass. Tommy Maxwell makes the interception, actually his second of the game. On the very next play, the first of this series for the Colts, we have play action. The pass goes to Jimmy Orr, and he gets by the defender, outruns him into the end zone. It would seem as though the Colts are ready to put this one away. It's 24-14, but the Steelers aren't quite done yet. Quarterback Dick Shiner, throws a perfect pass into the back of the end zone to receiver J.R. Wilburn. The Steelers are going to miss the extra point, but they're still only down 24-20. Now the Colts have crossed midfield. It looked like they want to put this one away. Tom Matte goes through. Andy Russell jars the ball loose. The Steelers have it. They grind their way down to the 33-yard line. Shiner drops back, looks deep for J.R. Wilburn once again. Unbelievable. On the other side of All-Pro Roy Jefferson, Wilburn's making the plays. 27-24. Under a minute to go, the kickoff goes to Preston Pearson. Let's see if you can do anything with this. He is immediately hit by linebacker Ray May. And the Steelers recover the ball. Can you believe this? The bottom-ranked team goes on the road, knocks off the Colts. Now, this is not exactly the Colts team from last year, but they're still excellent. The Steelers win 27-24. Looking at the map here, it's not a big pickup in land, as the state of Maryland will fall to the Steelers, but it's a monumental upset, maybe the biggest one we've had thus far in imperialism, and the Steelers move on. You wonder if maybe 1969 is going to have a lot more upsets. We'll see here. This would be a chance. The Vikings are up. They're the top team. That's going to go slightly to the southwest, though, so they're not going to play. They're going to expand their territory into South Dakota. We're going to go ahead and try this wheel thing one more time. It's going to get past the Chiefs. It's going to pick the Eagles. The arrow goes slightly to the northwest. That's going to line them up with the Buffalo Bills. These aren't exactly stalwart teams, but this could be an interesting game. We're all knotted up at 14 in the fourth quarter. The Bills are at about the 29-yard line. Jack Kemp, with the play action, finds Haven Moses, and the defense does nothing to stop him. He gets into the end zone for the touchdown, and we have another missed extra point here. The Bills are going to lead 20-14. On the ensuing kickoff, this will be rookie wide receiver Kent Lawrence trying to make a play. Well, Harry Jacobs bounces the ball right out of his hands. It's picked up by Bob Taderick, and he just uses brute force to get his way into the end zone. That's going to put away any chance the Eagles have to win this game. They tack on a touchdown late to no avail. The Bills are going to hold steady here, win this game 27-21. The Eagles tried to invade. It was unsuccessful. So the Bills will now turn around and take over the Eagles' land, expanding their territory. We're going to give the wheel another spin here. It's going to stay in the Northeast, pick up the New York Giants. The arrow is going to take them into the Southwest, into the newly acquired territory of the Buffalo Bills. So we're going to get that game right now. Giants at Bills. Not much of a contest here. The Giants actually take a 7-0 lead before the Bills reel off 37 straight points. A 37-7 easy victory for the Bills. And this is an interesting development here. The bottom two teams on our rankings are the Steelers and the Bills, and they've accounted for the first 3 wins of this season's Imperialism. Go figure sometimes. The Bills have been invaded twice, and they've fended them off both times. They're good at defending their land, I guess. They now take over northern New Jersey, knocking the Giants out of the game. We're here to give the wheel another spin. It's going to be landing on the Cleveland Browns. The arrow is going to take them east, slightly southeast. That's enough to hit the Bengals territory there. So we're going to get a matchup of Ohio here. The Bengals are going to host the Browns. We're tied up at 7 here in the second quarter. Rookie quarterback Greg Cook takes the snap, throws in the end zone. That is wide receiver Eric Crabtree with defenders all around him making the catch. The Bengals lead 14-7. Later in the game, the Browns have taken a 17-14 lead. It's 3rd and 19 for the Bengals. Cook drops back, and the pressure's starting to come, and he kind of just YOLOs that ball. And it's Eric Crabtree, a leaping touchdown reception as the third quarter expires. The Bengals are going to enter the fourth with a 21-17 lead. The Browns look to respond. 2nd and 18. The Bengals back up their defense. Bill Nelson goes back to pass. Looks for Paul Warfield. He makes a diving catch down the 3-yard line. 2 plays later, here from the edge of the end zone, Leroy Kelly is going to waltz in for the touchdown. The Browns will take the lead here on that play, 24-21. They get the ball back and are looking for a field goal here with 1:30 to go. The 24-yard kick is no good. So the Bengals have a chance here. Field goal to tie, touchdown to win. Cook drops back to pass. The pressure comes. That's Marvin Upshaw making the sack. Very next play here, 2nd and 21. Cook drops back. Rookie quarterback throws to rookie Jess Phillips, who makes the first down. He was somewhat infamously drafted while he was in jail, but he's making an impact here. Next play, or 2 plays later, Cook drops back, looking, fires. He finds another rookie receiver, Speedy Thomas. Great name for a receiver, by the way. The Bengals aren't going to waste any time. Rookie kicker Horst Muhlman comes out, buries the 39-yarder. What a game we've had, folks. This one is going to be going to overtime. These Bengals are cats that can't get killed. They are playing their hearts out. A second-year expansion team facing the mighty Browns. Let's see how overtime goes. The Bengals actually won the toss but went 3 and out. Here on 3rd and 9, Bill Nelson looks like he's going to run. No, he throws. Somewhat short to Paul Warfield, but he uses the speed to get inside the 25. Here we are now on 3rd and 9. The Browns looking to pick up a few more yards. The pass across the middle to Milt Morin. The Bengals are going to rue that lost opportunity. They had a chance to pick that off. They couldn't do it. They're going to bring Cockcroft in for the game winner now. This is from 42 yards. No pressure. The kick is up. It's good. The Browns are going to win this game in overtime, 27-24. What a thriller. The Bengals have nothing to hang their heads about on this one. So, looking at the map here, the split Ohio is no more. The Browns are going to take over the entire state and move on in NFL imperialism. We give this wheel another spin, and it might hit the Browns again, but no, it's going to stop before that happens. The Cardinals are up. The arrow goes west, and at least for the next 20 seasons or so, these two teams are not going to be able to get away from each other. The Cardinals will travel to the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs for our next game. Maybe the Cardinals have the Chiefs' number. I'm not sure what's going on. They lead 13-3. Draw play goes to Mike Garrett, and he is wrapped up, I guess. No! He breaks free. The defense gives chase. They should have him down here at the 20. He spins away. That is an amazing touchdown run there by Mike Garrett. That's going to make it 13-10 with the pending extra point. The Chiefs look like they're trying to make their comeback. A 64-yard touchdown. Well, strike that. It's 13-9. They're going for two. I guess they're feeling the momentum here. Okay, let's see how this turns out. Len Dawson under center. He's going to throw it. He's got tight end Fred Arbanis. That's a touchdown. Well, it's a two-point conversion anyway. 13-11, but the Cardinals come back. Charlie Johnson with the comebacker, or maybe it was a bad throw. I'm not sure. Either way, Sid Edwards barely breaks the plane to the goal line. That's a touchdown. The Cardinals defense clamped it down from there. Chiefs scored very, very late to no avail, and the Cardinals knock out the champs on their field. 20-18. The champs, the number 2 team, are out. And this is not the first upset we've had this season. It's been amazing. It's been crazy. But taking a look at the map here, the Cardinals will wipe the Chiefs off and take full control over Missouri. We've got 5 teams that have been eliminated. We're going to see if we get another game here to get another elimination. Lands on the Raiders. Arrows taking them slightly to the northeast. That is going to hit the 49ers territory. The eternal rivalry will live on. The Raiders lead 20-6 in the fourth quarter. The 49ers are trying to make a comeback. That's a handoff there to Doug Cunningham. He gets around the edge, spins around, hurdles someone else, puts a little beat into the heart there. The Niners are going to get this touchdown, get it to within 20-13. Will they kick it off? Or will they go onside? They're going onside, and they recover it. Okay, they're in business. They've got it down to about the 33 now. It's 3rd and 3. Play action pass. Looked like he might run. He throws. Gene Washington makes a diving catch. Different Gene Washington than the Vikings wide receiver. 2 different guys, same name. Very next play from the 18. Brody steps up again, finds Washington, gets into the end zone, and just like that, the 49ers go from being down 14 to being tied. They kick the extra point. Oakland now has the ball late. I don't know what they're trying to do here. That wasn't smart. That is picked off by Jimmy Johnson. 13 seconds remaining. The 49ers will waste no time. They're going to bring kicker Tommy Davis in for the winning points. A 32-yard field goal. Ice in his veins. What a come-from-behind victory here for the 49ers. From 20-6 all the way to 23-20 in just under 3 minutes. This imperialism in 1969 has been absolutely wild. So let's look at the map here. The Raiders, they're having trouble beating the 49ers, I tell you. The Niners win this game, take over the land. Who knows? Anybody can win this imperialism this year, it seems. Anybody. Who knows what kind of craziness might await us. So long to go. Wheel lands on the Dolphins. The arrow is going to go slightly to the northeast. That's technically crossing over into the Atlantic Ocean, but it's going to hit South Carolina. That's the Falcons' territory. They boarded the Dolphins. Dolphins and Falcons is our next game. The Dolphins lead 20-14 here in the fourth quarter. It's 2nd and 18. Snap goes to Bob Greasy. He holds it for a while, goes deep to Carl Noonan. That's a huge play. They should get him down right here. The defender misses the tackle, gets lost. What a back-breaking touchdown that is for the Dolphins. Bob Greasy to Carl Noonan, 76 yards. Atlanta actually led after the third quarter, but the Dolphins scored 2 touchdowns, continue their mastery over the Falcons with a 27-14 win. Looking at the map here, the Falcons have more land than normal, having already picked up South Carolina, so the Dolphins will take all that over as they do what they do here by entering isolationism. Let's take a look here, see what we have next. The wheel just misses hitting the Dolphins again. That's the Chargers. Arrows heading to the northwest. So we already had our battle of Northern California. Now the Chargers and the Rams will have the battle of Southern California. Chargers trailing 24-10 in desperation mode. Deacon Jones breaks through the line, gets the safety. That's his 3rd sack of the game. That was all the scoring in the fourth quarter. That 2 there really stands out. Rams win the game 26-10. It was tied at halftime, but it never felt like it was quite in doubt. So, Northern California went to the 49ers. The Chargers are now out of the game, and the Rams take over Southern California. Things might be calming down. They might be picking back up. Don't know yet. The wheel teases another double hit with the Rams. It goes to the Browns. That goes directly south. So that's going to be the state of Kentucky in our first expansion in quite a while. We'll try this again. The wheel is going to choose the Packers. The arrow takes them east unequivocally into the Lions territory. Packers and Lions coming right up. We're in a defensive struggle, 7-7 in the fourth quarter. Bill Munson drops back to pass, finds Earl McCullough. He's not the fastest, but he's fast enough. That turns a tie game into a Lions lead here. 36-yard touchdown makes it 14-7. The Packers now face 4th and 7 from the 21. Bart Starr drops back, throws to Carroll Dale. That connection's not what it used to be. Incomplete. The Lions defender Land win the game 14-7. The Lions have developed a little bit of a mastery now over the Packers. They will take over the state of Wisconsin and expand their land. Our next game will be the 10th of 1969 Imperialism. It will not involve the Dolphins. They're in isolation. The arrow goes to the northeast. That's going to pick up North Carolina. They're creeping closer and closer to other teams on the map now. Let's give this wheel here another go. It's going to get past the Patriots into the 49ers. The arrow will go south, so the champions of Northern California will go and travel to face the champions of Southern California. 49ers at Rams. The 49ers are on the doorstep in the fourth quarter, down 7. The handoff or the pitch goes to Ken Willard. Easy walk-in touchdown. The extra point is going to tie this game up at 21 apiece. It is now the Rams' turn to respond from the 29-yard line. Roman Gabriel, play action, throws to Wendell Tucker, and it's intercepted by Jimmy Johnson. That's the second straight game. He's had a huge pick, a second of this game as well. The Niners now on 3rd and 4. The Rams bring the defense forward, which causes an audible. Let's see what they go with. Well, that didn't work. Doug Cunningham blown up in the backfield. Here comes Tommy Davis for another important field goal, 45 yards. It's up, and he bangs it in. 24-21, the Rams now have the chance to come back. 3rd and 12, deep in their own territory. Gabriel goes to Jack Snow, makes the catch in double coverage. That's an important play there. 28 yards, but now it's 4th and 3. They're going to hand it off to Les Josephson. Oh, it's close. Here comes the measurement. He's short. The 49ers, another fourth quarter come from behind victory here. This time at the Rams, 24-21. So this is huge in a lot of ways. Number one, the Rams not only are defending Imperialism champions from 1968, they were finalists in 67, so they're out now. And the 49ers pick up the entire state of California and are very much right now in isolationism. This could be very good for them moving forward. We've now seen 10 teams be eliminated. Next up on the wheel, it's just going to sneak into the Lions there. Arrows going northwest, but not far enough northwest to avoid Minnesota. So the Lions are going to face a stern test here up against our number 1 ranked team in the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions are doing great, leading 7-5 here in the third quarter. This is quarterback Joe Cap looking toward the end zone at Gene Washington. We've mentioned there's 2 Gene Washingtons. That's a touchdown. That's going to temporarily make the score 11-7. What a football score that is. No, they wouldn't miss this, would they? No, it's blocked, so it stays 11-7. The Lions have the ball. Bill Munson drops back. He is strip sacked by Jim Marshall. And that's an easy scoop and score by Alan Page. And it's really at this point here that the Vikings start to take over. 18-7 became 25-7, became our final score of 32-7. The Lions did as well as you can expect against this incredible Viking defense. But they fall short on the road. So the Vikings are going to take the Lions' territory. And they have an interesting territory of their own now to work with as they move on in Imperialism. It's time for a quick round of expansions. We begin with the Dolphins in isolation. They have to expand. They go a little bit to the northwest to pick up Tennessee. No longer in isolation now. Next up on the wheel are the Redskins. Arrow's going to take them to the southwest. That is going into the state of Virginia. Third up on the list, we have the Oilers. Arrow goes to the northeast. We got a photo finish here. A very small area to hit Arkansas, but they did, and they expand. Next up are the 49ers in isolation. Goes to the east. That's going to be picking up the state of Nevada. Take a look at another spin of the wheel here. That is going to be the St. Louis Cardinals. Arrow goes to the northwest. That's going to clip Iowa. That's going to give them some expansion there as well. This time it looks like the wheel is going to give us the Bills. It just sneaks past the Oilers. That goes west. That will end the expansion period now. Bills at Steelers, a super interesting game here. Not only are these the 2 bottom-ranked teams, but they already have wins to their name. As a matter of fact, the Bills already have 2 wins. Can they get a third, or will the Steelers defend their land and pick up a second? Maybe our rankings underestimated the Bills. They fell behind 7-0 in the first, then took it over. Bit of a snooze fest in this game, 35-7. Buffalo with the win. That is number 3 in the win column for them. They will wipe off the Steelers, take their territory, and expand their land. We're getting near the midway point here. The wheel will select the Chicago Bears. The arrow will take them directly east. That's easily an expansion. The state of Indiana is now owned by the Chicago Bears. We give the wheel another spin and find that it will land on the Cleveland Browns just past the Bills. Heads west into Indiana, so the Bears just picked up Indiana, and now they're going to be forced to defend it against a very good Cleveland Browns team. The Bears are hanging tight here, tied at 14 in the second half. The handoff goes to Leroy Kelly up the middle, and he goes untouched. Wow, Bears defense was nowhere to be seen on that one. An 18-yard touchdown run. The Bears offense really couldn't get much going after that. 28-17 is your final score for Cleveland. So their invasion into the Bears territory is successful. And the Browns, they're one of the favorites here going into the second half of 1969 Imperialism. They're lined up with some good teams, though. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And indeed, we are halfway through as 13 of the 26 teams have been eliminated. We're going with Cleveland again. They're quite the invading force. That takes them to the southwest, which is going to catch the Dolphins' territory. Browns at Dolphins, what will become the biggest piece of land on the map to this point. The Browns are having no problem handling the Dolphins here. It's 21-7 in the fourth quarter. Bill Nelson looks to the end zone to future Dolphin, Paul Warfield. We'll get to that in a few years. But that touchdown makes it 28-7. The Dolphins tack on 2 touchdowns very late, but meaningless in the end of the day. The Browns win the game 28-21. And now looking at their land, they are going to be stretching from the Midwest to the southeastern tip of Florida. As it stands, they own the most land. Half the teams on the wheel have yet to be called on. The Jets are one of those teams. So they're up now. The arrow's going to go to the northeast. That looks like it's going to hit at least Long Island, which is part of the Bills' territory. So the Bills get called in again. This is going to be their 4th game. They now have the defending Super Bowl champions to contend with. Can they hold off the Jets at home? Let's find out. It's 10-0 in the 3rd quarter. The Jets are within scoring range. It's 2nd and 1. The play action works. The pass to Don Maynard in the end zone by Joe Namath is a touchdown. The Bills played their hearts out here. They scored very late to avoid the shutout. 17-6 is your final. So the Jets go into Buffalo and win. Buffalo had a great run, more than anyone could have expected. Again, probably our number 2 from the bottom ranking may have been a little harsh, but at the end of the day, the Jets emerged from southern New Jersey to take all of Buffalo's land. The wheel goes and will give us another team that is yet to be called on. That's the Patriots. The arrow's going to head slightly northwest. That's going to be the state of Vermont, so the Patriots expand without facing too much threat from others. Right back to the wheel we go. That looks like it's going to stay with the Vikings, yes. The arrow heads to the southeast, far enough away to avoid the Cardinals' territory, and hit the Browns. This is going to be a big game. Vikings at Browns. Can the Vikings continue their run on the road? This Viking team is most predominantly known for its defense, but it's got some offense too. Play action from Joe Cap. The pass goes to Gene Washington. Can he break all the way in? No, he's tackled just inside the 10. Vikings forced to settle for the field goal here, 3rd and 8. And it's a fake. Joe Cap picks it up, runs with it, and he gets the touchdown as the first half expires. That is inspiring. That makes the game 17-7. Now the Vikings defense kicks in. Shut them out in the second half. Kick a couple field goals. 23-7 Viking victory. The Browns weren't able to hold this team off at home. Not sure who's going to be able to beat them, but we saw the Colts get beat last year, so you never know. That said, the Vikings now cut a swath of land all the way through the mid-east portion of the country, taking over Cleveland's land. Just 10 teams are remaining, and one of those teams are the Broncos, the first time we've seen them at all. That arrow goes southwest. It's still going to hit New Mexico, not quite into the Four Corners region there where they can get into Arizona. They expand their land. Back to the wheel. Might we get some more first-timers in here? It lands on the Oilers, and they're surrounded by teams that we haven't heard from at all, so slightly to the northeast, that's the Saints. So Oilers at the Saints. This is going to be the first time the Saints have been called up at all, and it'll be the first time either team has taken the field. The Oilers have control of this game here near the end of the 3rd quarter. They lead 21-7. Billy Kilmer with the play action, and he wildly overthrows his target. That is safety Ken Houston, playing for Houston, making the pick, evading the tackler, takes it into the end zone as the 3rd quarter expires. This one looks to be in the bag. 28-7. Houston leads. Well, the Saints are trying a little comeback here. They've gotten a field goal under their belt. It's 28-10. Kilmer drops back, throws a wounded duck to the end zone, but it's caught. Danny Abramowitz with the touchdown. 28-17, maybe not quite so over yet. Oilers take possession at the 11. They pitch it out to Roy Hopkins, just trying to pick up some yards, kill some clock. That is a first down. He will not go down, and Steve Priest comes in and forces the fumble. Could the Saints give us yet another comeback here? They've got the ball very next play. Kilmer in shotgun, looks to Abramowitz, makes the diving catch in the end zone. The Saints are really trying this here. They've scored 17 straight points. The onside kick bounces around. Oh, the Oilers recover. Tack on a touchdown for good measure. Oh, that was exciting. The Saints couldn't finish it, but they gave it a game, put a little scare into the Oilers. Nonetheless, a 35-24 victory for Houston. Looking at the map here, the state of Louisiana will now fall to the control of the Oilers, and they pretty much have the entire western region of the Gulf of Mexico. The wedges on this wheel continue to grow in size. The wheel selects the Broncos, and the arrow is going to take them slightly to the northeast. That's going to actually hit the state of Kansas. So the Broncos continue to expand their land. We are going to give it another go here, and it looks like the wheel's loving the Broncos these days. Hits them again. The arrow is going to hit to the southeast. This might be the closest spin we've ever had in Imperialism. That is just hitting the Cowboys' territory, missing Oklahoma. So the Broncos are going to Dallas to face the Cowboys. We're seeing both teams on the field for the first time. What we're not seeing for the first time in this, our fourth season of Imperialism, is Bob Hayes doing all kinds of damage for the Cowboys. It's already 14-0, double coverage in the end zone, who cares? Hayes makes the catch, gives the Cowboys a 21-0 lead. It was pretty pedestrian the rest of the way. Dallas takes a 27-8 final score. Broncos scored late, hit a 2-point conversion. Good for them, I guess. But the Cowboys will defeat the Broncos, and the Broncos' little wraparound land on Oklahoma now belongs to the Cowboys, so they have an interesting little landmass themselves. This is now the Elite Eight, as it were, and I don't think anybody wanted to see that. That landed on the Vikings. Going slightly to the southwest from the center of the logo, that's going to hit the Cardinals' territory. So it's going to be up to the Cardinals to face off against the juggernaut Vikings. At least they've got them at home. The Vikings' defense requires oh so little from the offense, but they're able to provide enough. Joe Cap here at 7-6 finds Gene Washington in the back of the end zone. That's a touchdown. It'll put them up 14-6. That's all they need. That's more than they need, actually. 17-6 is the final. It's going to be tough to beat this team. We keep saying it, but this defense just does not relent. So the Cardinals won a game early, beat a good team in the Chiefs, but aren't able to handle the Vikings here. The Vikings will take over their territory and, like a purple amoeba, continue to spread across the United States. We're not too far from crowning our Imperialism champion of 1969. That wheel's going to hit the Oilers. It's going to take them northwest, which is directly into the Cowboys' territory. It's technically the Battle of Texas, but a lot more land is on the line. Oilers at Cowboys. The Cowboys have been absolutely stymied here. The Oilers have dominated, but only have field goals to show for it. That's a touchdown pass to Alvin Reed, makes a leaping catch there. The Oilers finally get into the end zone. Dallas was completely shut down in this game. 19-0 is the final. If you thought the upsets were over, think again. This is shocking. To go into Dallas, keep them off the scoreboard. We got to look at the map here now. I guess love you blue. The Oilers are going to pick up all of Dallas's land here, and they continue to wrap around the state of Oklahoma. But something more interesting to note here, 6 teams remain. The Vikings are ranked number 1. None of the other teams here, none of them, are in the top 5. This is absolutely Minnesota's game to lose. We give the wheel another spin. That's going to be landing on the Jets. The arrow is going to take them west, and that's going to run into the Vikings' territory at some point. Jets at Vikings. Can the Jets be the ones? We're in the fourth quarter. The Jets lead 10-7, but Minnesota's at the 4. The handoff goes to Bill Brown. He waltzes in for the touchdown. The Vikings will take the lead here, but there's time for the Jets to come back. It's going to be 14-10. The Jets facing 3rd and 12. Namath drops back. Line holds up pretty decently. Gets the pass off to Don Maynard. 16-yard gain. A few plays later, the Jets are in shotgun. Here comes the defense. He gets the pass off again to Don Maynard. He might have to be the guy. 17 yards. Here it is, 2nd and 10 from the 15. Gary Larson breaks through for the sack. His first of the game. Very important. 4th and 13, they're going to go for it. We got play action. Namath looks to the end zone, and it's incomplete. But the Jets are going to get the ball back here at the 45-yard line. 2 minutes to go. Play action, and he gets swallowed up by Gary Larson again. Hadn't done much all game. He's coming alive now. On 4th down, Namath holds it, and he gets sacked again by Larson. He might be the least known of that front four, but he came up huge today. Minnesota holds on. They only give up 10. They only score 14, but 14's more than 10. The Vikings beat the Jets. Looking at the map now, the Vikings are starting to grow into the northeast. That becomes a huge threat for the Patriots and Redskins, who have yet to see the field. The Vikings continue to grow their land. We're 4 games away from crowning a champion. The wheel selects the Oilers. It's going to head northeast. They're finally going to grab Oklahoma, make that oil rig look real big. Next up on the wheel, it's going to be close between the Vikings and Patriots. It's just going to creep into the Patriots. Arrow goes south, so they're going to go and grab Connecticut. Make them a little bigger now, too. The wheel will now select the Oilers once again. We're going to go to the northwest. That's going to bypass any game and hit the state of Wyoming. And now it's close again. It's going to get into the Redskins' territory. It goes to the northeast. They're enveloped, not necessarily surrounded, by the Vikings. So the Redskins are going to see the field for the first time in 1969. Your task, go play Minnesota in Minnesota. Good luck. The Redskins led 10-6 at halftime, but now trail 16-10 in the fourth. Sonny Jurgensen drops back, looking for a receiver, and it's intercepted. Ursel Mackby just glides in front of the pattern, picks it off, runs it back for the touchdown. That will extend the Vikings' lead and essentially open the floodgates. It's 23-10 here. It ends 37-10. It was a little closer than the final score might indicate, but the Vikings were the winners through and through. So the state of Virginia is essentially all the Redskins have to offer, but the Vikings will take it and now completely envelop West Virginia. We're going to be down to the final 4 teams here. We got a team in the West, a team in the center, a team in the Northeast, and the Patriots. Outside of the Vikings, a highly unlikely final 4 here. The Oilers are chosen. They go to the Northeast, and NE stands for Nebraska. That's what they're grabbing. Next up on the wheel, it's going to get past the 49ers to the Patriots, and they continue to avoid confrontation. That goes northeast. They claim the state of Maine. Now we have the Vikings again, and they too will be going northeast, and they're going to finish off that land there and pick up West Virginia. And now it's going to be the Vikings again, and they go northeast again, but look at that. They split the difference between Delaware and Vermont, and they hit the Patriots' territory. Hide no more. Boston Patriots, Minnesota Vikings, game on. And game over. Hey, when the Patriots lose, they lose big. 45-0 in the fourth quarter. They pick up a late touchdown, missed the 2. The Vikings totally dominate. No surprise, 45-6. So outside of unclaimed lands, the Vikings essentially own the Midwest, the Southeast, and the Northeast. They take over the Patriots' land. We're down to 3 teams. The 49ers are still in isolation. They look likely to play for the championship. Let's get a spin of the wheel in there. It's going to be landing on the Oilers. Arrow goes north, slightly northeast, and that's going to take them into Minnesota territory. So off the bat, the 49ers, who went into isolation very early, have advanced to the championship game. If the Oilers can shock the world, they'll be in that game too. Otherwise, it'll be Minnesota. Let's see how it all goes. As expected, defense rules the day. The Vikings are in punt formation, but it's a fake. This is 4th and 10. Dave Osborne's going to pick up the first down. Not the first time we've seen the Vikings pull this trickery on special teams. One play later, 2nd and 9. It's 3-0 in the third, we should mention. Vikings lead. Joe Cap finds fullback Bill Brown in the flat. He picks up some extra yards. Very next play now. From the 23. Cap is going to drop back. They're going to keep firing. The ball goes up to Gene Washington. And he goes up to make a great leaping catch. We have our game's first touchdown in the second half. 10-0 Minnesota. Houston gets down into about the 25. They're going to kick a 43-yard field goal. The rush came in, and the kick looked like it may have been rushed too. No good. The Vikings are going to try to put this away now. It's still 10-0 in the fourth. The pitch goes to Osborne, rounding the edge, and he is pursued by defensive end Pat Holmes, forcing the fumble. What a hustle play by the big fella. The Oilers are going to take over. They quickly face 4th and 6, though. That's Carl Eller breaking the line, but Roy Hopkins picks him up. That's a first down to Jim Byrne. Very important play. They grind it down to the 16. 3rd and 1. The handoff to Hoyle Granger. Speed and power. That's a touchdown. It's getting late, but the Oilers are not out of this. It's about to be 10-7. And they're probably going to go for the onside kick here. And they do. That's bouncing around, and they recover. Oh, it's on now. They quickly get down to 3rd and 10. And Roy Hopkins again picks up Carl Eller. Gives him time to get the pass off to Byrne. He's having a day. It's 26 yards. It's 3rd and 15 now. It's play action. The pass goes to Byrne, and he makes the catch, but he's short. And they're going for it. They're trying to win this game here. Not worried about tying it. 4th and 3. And they're going to hand it to Hopkins. Oh, and he's swallowed whole. And that's it, folks. The Vikings run out the clock. Massive respect to the Oilers. They outperformed all expectations. Gave the Vikings a game, but they fall 10-7. And now we've got a championship game. The 49ers took over all of California before anybody could expand, and in doing so stayed in isolation all the way through. So they're in the title game against the battle-hardened Vikings, who are going to be favored no matter where the game is. We're going to find out where that game's going to be with this spin of the wheel. And here we have the all-important spin. It's going to land on Minnesota. So they're going to go to San Francisco to play this game. The championship of 1969 Imperialism is at stake. The Vikings lead 7-0 in the second quarter, and they're moving the ball again. Joe Cap is holding it for too long. Roland Lakes is going to jar it loose. And that's Jimmy Johnson on the spot again for the 49ers, running it back. Oh, he's run down. But the Niners have excellent field position. Next play. Handoff to Ken Willard. He's been a red zone dynamo. Look at that run. And it's tough to score touchdowns on the Vikings here in the first half, but the Niners have done it. It's 7-7. We're still in the first half. The Vikings have the ball. That pass is going to Tom Hall. He is in for the injured Gene Washington, but he makes a nice play. And the Vikings keep the ball here. They're at the 35-yard line. Play action. Going to Hall again. He doesn't have Washington's speed. He can't quite get in. But he's having a great day off the bench. After a sack, Joe Cap drops back, finds John Henderson in the end zone. That's a touchdown. The Vikings are showing some offense here in this game. 14-7. That's going to be our halftime score. Now in the second half, the Niners trapped all the way back at their 7-yard line. John Brody wrapped up by Jim Marshall for the safety. 16-7. The Vikings on the free kick grind the clock, move the ball down to the 19. Cap throws to Hall. It's a touchdown. What a game he's having off the bench. The Niners try to come back. They got a little bit going, but this game was out of reach at this point. 33-14 is your final score. The Niners did what they could. Even at home, no match for this Viking team. And now we have a new rendition of Purple Rain. RAIN, REIGN, take your pick. The Vikings rule the roost and have taken over the entire United States. The Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl IV champions, became the first team in Imperialism not to win a single game. The runners-up of the 1969 Super Bowl, the Minnesota Vikings, faced the same task as the Baltimore Colts did last year. However, whereas the Colts fell short, the Vikings become the Imperialism IV champions. The 49ers take their place as runners-up. Let's now take a look at that awesome Vikings roster. This offense, especially at the skill positions, have lots of very good players, but none that really made the upper echelons of the NFL. The exception is on the offensive line, where guys like Mick Tingelhoff and Grady Alderman were all-time greats of their era. Where this team's strength lies is in this incredible defense. That front four alone, Carl Eller, Alan Page, Gary Larson, Jim Marshall. I mean, whoever the weak link is on that line is still an all-pro type player. Wally Hilgenberg, Lonnie Warwick, Roy Winston at the linebackers, that secondary is just amazing. This defense was truly out of this world. Recapping the scores from 1969 reminds us just how many wild upsets there were and how many great close games we had as well. Looking at the Vikings here, winning the championship game, they won the previous 4 games before that, and 5 out of 6. They essentially repeated everything the Colts did in 1968, except they won the whole thing. That said, the records of 1969 show us that the Vikings were dominant at 8-0, but the Bills and the Browns, gotta be proud of those teams, especially the Bills, who were really ranked low to come up at 3-1. Excellent job by them. The overall standings now, again, listed by number of wins. The Cowboys won a game in 69, whereas the Packers did not. So they are on the top now at 11-3. The Browns have the most success at 9-4 of any team who has yet to win Imperialism. And the Rams have the least amount of success at 6-3 of any team that has won Imperialism. And if you'll please indulge me, I'd like to take another moment, if I could, to please ask that if you have not already, to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. We're having a great time making these videos for you. This is the 4th one. We're looking forward to, in a few days, getting 1970 up and running. If you're watching this at a later date, we have every completed Imperialism linked down in the description below. Thank you, everybody, for indulging me for that moment. Before we sign off here, we want to take one more look at what the Vikings did to the United States. Just like their forebears from a millennium ago, they came, they saw, they conquered. From sea to shining sea, it's all purple. Thank you again so very much. Have an awesome day, and we'll catch you soon.